Hey everybody, before we get into this review of The Mandalorian chapters 3 and 4, I just want to let you know about our sponsor. It's a film called Sir John A. and the Curse of the Antiquenched. It's a fun film, and it's on sale this Christmas season for only $1.99 on iTunes. So go check out Curse of the Antiquenched on iTunes or check out curseoftheantiquenched.com. Okay, I'm going to hit the 10-minute timer. We're going to get into our Mandalorian episodes 3 and 4 review right now. And so we're doing Chapter 3, The Sin, and Chapter 4, Sanctuary.
So coming off of Chapter 2, which I really liked. It was my favorite so far. Then Chapter 3 comes in for The Sin. So it's like when he goes and delivers the child. I didn't think it was going to happen so quickly.
That he would deliver the kid?
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I'm like, is that it? And I'm like, no, he's gotta come back. I'm on the Baby Yoda bandwagon. I know you're not. You're all like, it's too cute for Star Wars.
No, I didn't mean it like I'm not against it, but it is it's overwhelmingly cute.
I mean, have you seen the new Star Wars? Like, the Star Wars has always had cute things.
Yeah, they're selling toys, right?
But yeah, I thought the Sin had some great moments.
Well, yeah, let's get right to it. So obviously you're like, holy shit, he's actually gonna give it up. Like, this guy's metal.
Absolutely.
And then to prove he's metal, he takes his money and goes and gets like
every video game ever.
Yeah, he just gets all the upgrades.
Let's get all of the armor now. And you're like, okay, now he's got all the armor. He's delivered the child. I'm like, so he's just moving on now, I guess.
Yeah, but then, gets the better of him, the guilty conscience. And
then that's when we see a shit ton of Mandalorians.
Yeah.
Fighting.
Which is dope, and it was awesome. They're all flying out and then defending him, which I thought was pretty cool. Like, even though he fucked up, they're like, it's like we're stick together kind of thing.
This is the way.
Yeah, this is the way.
That's what I love about the new stuff, right? We're learning all these new things that maybe they've come out before, but at least I'm not like that super of a diehard person from books and all that stuff. So like for me, it's like, this is cool.
It's a whole new thing, and it's a whole new warrior class that we didn't know about.
And didn't it feel a little bit like Iron Man? Like all his suits kind of fighting, because we got the big tank fighters.
Yeah.
To me it felt like all these Iron Man suits. But I mean, it was fun. It was kind of cool seeing all these different types coming in together at the same time. It still feels very westerny, which I really like about the show.
Yeah, it's like a western.
There's a wagon scene, right? He jumps in the wagon and starts riding away, and he's shooting. It's so western.
It's awesome.
And it brings us into the next episode, which is very western, because it's pretty much based off of the Magnificent Seven, which of course in and of itself is based off a Japanese film. I think it's Seven Samurais. So that's a whole big thing, right?
Defend this town.
This town. You've seen it in Three Amigos. You've seen it everywhere. The same story of...
No, I didn't catch on to that until you just brought it up now.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
Even the Clone Wars TV show did that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
So David Filoni has done this before.
He did a test run.
So if you're not familiar with that, essentially it's the same story of mercenaries are hired by a town to protect them from badder guys.
Yeah.
And then this town pretty much learns to fight from these mercenaries, because that's a classic thing you've seen all the time, and fighting, and honestly it's like the scariest ATST I've ever seen.
Yeah, I know, the red light turns on.
It's so cool.
I love that. And I like seeing just leftover hijack stuff from the Empire that on its own in a small thing, it's devastatingly destructive. Obviously the rebels take it down really easily, but I don't know. It was cool, man.
It was really cool to see.
Obviously, they frigged up. All you got to do is put some tree logs down.
I was thinking that too, right? I was like, is this going to be like Battle of Endor? I mean, that's just one.
Yeah.
Those teddy bears took down a bunch of them.
Those teddy bears are vicious.
But
they ate the stormtroopers after.
But the ATST, they made it look really scary for just one of it in and of itself. And I thought it was a great moment. And there was some moments where I'm like, don't take off your helmet. Don't take off your helmet. I didn't understand why he had to take off his helmet right in the window. I was like, people could see you, man.
I know, right? I do like so far up to episode 4, they are sticking with it, and they're leaving the helmet on.
They're leaving the helmet on. I'm hoping for a full-on Dredd and versus a Judge Dredd situation. If you're not familiar with that, Judge Judge Dredd is a comic, and he never takes off his helmet. When they made the Sylvester Stallone movie, he took off his helmet like right away. But then there's the movie Dredd, which is actually pretty good.
Carl Urban.
And he keeps it on the whole time. So we want the Dredd versus the Judge Dredd in this situation.
Solid,
keep the helmet on.
But yeah, like it's nice seeing Gina Carano when she showed up. I was like, oh, hey, her. And
like she shows up. Like I knew she was already there because she. That's the unfortunate thing of watching like a streaming service. You can see the thumbnails and even the main picture for the Mandalorian. She's in it, and I was like, So when she finally shows up, you're like, okay. But I mean, she's a known character. You're like, she's more than just what we're gonna see, right? I already knew it was gonna be a partnership. But yeah, when she, like you were mentioning, when like she starts fighting. You're like, damn, that hurts.
Yeah. And it's fun. And and I like expanding on this universe, and we see more pieces of this universe, and we see more elements and whatever. And just
did it feel weird to you? So when he sits down in the at the bar or whatever, and then like the barmaid or the owner comes by and starts talking to him, it feels like I'm playing Skyrim.
Yeah.
Like, how can I help you, adventurer?
I've never played Skyrim. But...
Oh, really? But like any of those like RPG video games, right? Like you start talking to people and they're like, oh, well, there's this adventure here. Like it felt very much like an interaction that way. I was fine with that.
There is like
I thought that was interesting.
I did say in the first one, there is like a D&D element to it. Like go to the bar.
You think that,
and...
funny enough about the Sin episode is, no, sorry. No, it's in Sanctuary where they go to the bad guy's hut.
Okay.
They kind of take out the two main guys and then go in the hut. That like I watched that episode, but right before then we had a D&D night, and that happened almost identical. Like we were just all sitting there like, "Whoa, that just happened."
Advanced screening of that.
I hope not. Is it cheating?
It's cheating DM.
but I thought that was interesting. It does.
I will say what I do love about it is it's these like they're open and shut cases. Yeah, almost every episode there is like this small overarching thing with Baby Yoda,
and that arc is how many times can they fool the audience in thinking Baby Yoda is dead?
Yeah,
right. And and it keeps going of like every time someone's about to aim, you hear a shooting sound, and that person's dead. It's like okay, but are they finally gonna shoot the child? I know that sounds awful, but like eventually you're like, come on, someone do it, kill me.
Come on. But they're like these little stories. And then it's like he goes here, solves a problem, like the littlest hobo.
And you know what? It works for Star Wars. It works in this world.
And it's a breath of fresh air to have something small and not on a grand scale.
Not connected to the main story. It's just it just is people living in this world, and it's great.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more. And like, I will say, and they give you moments where you like the newer films, like the Star Wars films, gives you these nostalgia moments that are very up front, and like here it is. Whereas the Mandalorian, it's like just shows you Mandalorian with a jetpack, and you're like, fuck yeah, like. And
we saw this before, but now that we're seeing the thing again, but it doesn't feel it more in your face. We see those little rat things.
Yeah,
like, and they're like puppets, and it's almost identical. It brings back the nostalgia, but not in your face about it. There's a lot of puppetry as well, too, right? Like it's full of puppetry,
masks and puppets, and
it feels a little hokey, and that's good.
It's got but they do it just enough that it works.
It does. So I'm excited to see.
I know we say it's like it's a smaller scale thing. It's still like $100 million show.
It probably is. It's a very expensive show, and you got. Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni.
They're not cheap, probably, and obviously Pedro Pascal.
But let's be honest, they're probably loving it every second of doing a Star Wars show. And I think they're doing a great job. And I can't wait to see where they're gonna go, how it's gonna end. And
because obviously they're gonna do more of this. There's no way they're stopping.
There's no way they're stopping after season 1. Like there's a season 2 coming for sure.
And then
if there's not, we riot.
Yeah, we're gonna be getting more in the Star Wars universe, and it would be cool if some of these off-brand Star Wars things could connect and overlap. If like, you know what I mean? If they do some other show and like Mandalorian shows up for an episode,
like a spin-off of the Mandalorian, maybe someone we meet in there or someone else unrelated, maybe in the bounty hunter kind of world, maybe,
or whatever. But like, if they do these, I know they're gonna do the Obi-Wan thing. They're gonna do something else.
There's more shows coming. Let's be honest.
I would love it. And if anything, like I'm more excited for an episode of The Mandalorian than I am to see the new Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
Like Yeah, or like I was thinking about Star Wars, and I was thinking the next day I'll be able to watch Mandalorian.
I can get on that, man. I will say so far, after watching the 4 episodes, episode 2 is still my favorite so far.
Episode 2 is still strong.
I don't know why.
I have to agree.
I love the opening with the Jawas and the battle. That was so good, and it just. I don't know. That was my favorite so far.
I would have to agree.
And I'm really excited to see where they're going with this. We've got, 4 more episodes after this?
Yeah, and we'll have more reviews for everything. So yeah, that's our review. If you guys have anything else you want to add on Instagram, Twitter, or anything like that, hit us up. But yeah, we're loving the series so far, and we'll
can't wait for more.
Yeah, we can't wait.
That's it, man. Game over, man. Game over.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. And be sure to follow us on Twitter at Lost Commentary, on Instagram at Raiders of the Lost Commentary, and like us on Facebook.
I'll be back.